You know what kind of irks me? Well, it's when trainers tell you that there's only one quick fix to a problem, like pulling on the leash. The problem with this approach, well, to be honest with you, there's a lot of problems. It's that they often leave out why the behavior is happening in the first place. And there really are quite a few reasons why your dog isn't able to just walk down your neighborhood street without first learning some fundamental skills. And your walks are probably a little challenging until you, the human, get a little more familiar with the canine communication and body language that your dog's giving off. All right, if you're ready to learn how to work through your dog's pulling on the leash while teaching your dog some skills that will last a lifetime, then this video is for you. And if you're really wanting to change or teach this not pulling behavior, you're going to want to stick around for the homework I assigned at the end of this video. Now, in part 1 of how to stop a dog from pulling on the leash, we talked a lot about what you can do to get your pup comfortable with the environment that you're actually walking in. Now, if you haven't seen part 1 of that series, you can check that out after you're done with this video. Let's start from a few steps back though. Now, if you're looking for this answer to pulling when your dog is already pulling, we've already made a few mistakes. That's no problem. They're fixable. I just want you to think about it is it's not how to stop pulling, but how to actually prevent pulling. So as you've heard in my first video, pulling is natural. The dog is just doing its normal thing. So you're asking him to do something different than his actual instincts. So just like with a physical sport, training the body to go against a natural instinct takes time and practice, a lot of practice. Think of a soccer player who instinctively wants to use their hands to move the ball. With a lot of practice, they actually retrain their bodies to only use their feet or their heads. But you don't see these soccer players practicing with their hands, ever. So to truly train the body not to do it, you want to avoid doing it at all. Pulling is the same way. In dog behavior, we have what's called the threshold concept. This concept is essentially that there's a trigger. Perhaps it's a squirrel or a child or another dog. The trigger is the thing that kicks off the behavior which causes the dog to pull on the leash. Now this could be excitement, or it could be fear or agitation or overstimulation. Now sometimes our approach to working through this is going to vary depending on which one of those emotions is present. Now this is another reason why we can't necessarily solve this for you in just 1 or even 2 videos. I'd need some more information from you in order to really give you specific advice. But I'm going to give you some ideas to get you started in this video. And if you need more help, you can always enroll in my online course where we can give you one-on-one or more personalized support in our pro level. Now, when a dog sees a trigger, it's going to kick off the behavior, like the lunging or the pulling. So, we have a trigger present. We have to determine what that dog's threshold is. The threshold refers to how close your dog can be to that trigger before he reacts. Is it 50 feet? Is it 20 feet? Is it 2 feet? A calm dog coming towards you might mean your dog can be 3 feet away. Now, if a passing dog is barking and lunging, you might have to get about 10 feet away or maybe more. Now, paying close attention to which triggers create a reaction and from how far away will be a key part of working through this pulling. Now the other threshold is going to be how long your dog looked at the trigger without reacting. Most of the time it's just a few seconds. For example, you're out on a walk with your dog and it's going fine. And you get to the park and you see another dog in the distance. Now the other dog is far enough away that it's not causing a reaction in your dog. But as you get closer, your dog starts to stare pretty intently at the other dog. Now after staring at the dog for maybe 3 seconds, your dog starts to jump and starts pulling on the leash. Well, this means that your dog's threshold at that moment is 3 seconds. So that actually means that it's your job to intervene and get your dog's attention at about 2.5 seconds or even sooner. You see what I did there? You have to know enough about your dog's pattern to know how long they can look at something and when to intervene before the unwanted behavior appears. Because of these triggers you're going to experience on walks and outings, it's going to be important to always be scanning the environment to see what might be coming or what might be causing a reaction in your dog. Then you're going to get the appropriate amount of space away if you can. Now, you might be thinking, but Michelle, I'm going to have to do this forever? No, you really won't. You're doing a lot of work to prevent the behavior from happening at first. At the same time, you're also doing that. You're going to be working on training the dog to an alternate behavior to do instead of that pulling reaction. Now choose something easy that your dog does well, like sniffing or sitting or even looking at you, or just standing next to your legs in the spot that you've designated.
Are you loving this great info? If you love our stuff, please let us know.
leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, or use the super thanks. So one more concept to talk about before I get into a few action games is the treats and which ones to use. Yes, you're definitely taking treats on your walk. They're going to play a big role in preventing the pulling. Yeah, you might find that using kibble from a different protein source is a good option. Or maybe some kind of dry treat. Now you should definitely have some of those high value treats like hot dogs or cheese, but save those for the times that you're really having a tough time getting your dog's attention. Use the kibble for rewarding the loose leash walking, the focus and the eye contact on you, and for sitting nicely or remaining calm when something exciting is happening. Now another great idea with the treats is to deliver them in a slightly different way. I actually like to throw a small handful of treats on the ground and let my dog scavenge for them. The sniffing is a natural calming behavior, which is what we need when the dog might be getting too excited. It actually draws his attention to another pleasing activity, and this can help shift his focus away from the excitement. I usually toss the treats in a way that the dog has to turn his back to the trigger. Your dog, acting more calmly, is also going to create a calmer environment if there's another dog present, and you're less likely to see that the other dog's behavior escalates. All right, let's get to the leash games. I know this is what you've been waiting for. All right, first things first, these games need to be established or started in a quiet location before you can expect your dog to play them in a more distracting setting, like walking down the street. All right, game number 1 here. It's called the 1, 2, 3 game. This game is going to give your dog a safe, predictable game to focus on while you're walking. Now this game, while it may seem super simple and basic and boring to a human, it's actually quite a lot of fun for our dogs. You're going to start off by counting out loud, 1, 2, 3, while walking, and then dropping a treat or 2 on the ground at your side when you get to 3. This game is aimed at creating a pattern of short bursts of walk followed by reinforcement for staying near your side. You'll know your dog is catching on because he or she is going to start to look up at you in anticipation of the 3 and the drop of the treat. Now this is a great game to play when you're passing something that you know is exciting to your dog and that you really want them to keep their focus solely on you. Now if you play it enough, he'll know exactly what to do when you start counting and he will be immediately engaged. Now make sure to always reward on the 3 so he's motivated to play this game. All right, game number 2, the shuffle game. Now this next one is what I like to call shuffle game. When your dog gets to the end of the leash and he starts to pull, I'm gonna have you stop and you're gonna wait. When he inevitably turns to you or looks at you like, "Ma, why are we not moving?" I want you to do a quick shuffle backwards with your feet. Now you might need to drop your body posture and make some exciting noises too. This movement is going to be enough to get your dog to turn to you if you're far enough away from the trigger, and if you've done this at home and he knows that he's going to get a treat when it comes from you. This also might be a time when you use the higher value treats. Now, shuffling backwards gives some more space between you and the dog and naturally draws him to you. Just make sure not to pull on the leash to try to get him to you. This needs to be done with a loose leash or the dog is going to instinctively pull the opposite way. This is actually a lure with your body language, not a pull with the leash. Now, when you're shuffling backwards and getting lower to the ground, the dog is drawn to this new and novel behavior on your part. But hear what I'm saying. You cannot start doing this while out on a walk. You have to practice this at home first so the dog knows what to do and can do it amid all the distractions at home before you take them out. Now, if you reward him handsomely when he reaches you, it's going to strengthen the behavior. A student in my online course, 30 Days to Puppy Perfection, has done this game so much with her dog that when she's standing in her kitchen and she just takes a little step back, the dog goes right to her. He sees the cue of her stepping back as a signal to get in close. Now, he's been rewarded handsomely for this several times, so he's going to be happy to do it. Now, if you're stopping and you're waiting and he's never turning his attention to you, take note that you're probably too close to the trigger. You're not exciting enough, or you haven't rewarded the dog well enough. Now, you might still be frustrated and say, "Michelle, this isn't working for my 100-pound beast who insists on saying hi to everyone." Okay, you're right. This is not a magic formula, and it may not work yet, but this is something that I can help you with. I can't teach a one-size-fits-all solution in just one YouTube video, but I can give you a lot more games, 13 of them to be exact. to teach your dog what you're looking for while out on a walk. These games become tools in your tool belt for you to use depending on the situation. Now, these games are covered in the online course that we offer. Again, the link is below in the description. Alright, I do hope that these tips, along with my first video on pulling, help give you some hope that a loose leash walk is possible with time and training. In the comments below, tell me which games you're going to play with your dog.